I'm Gwen, Preston of Resource Maven. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver in November, and I'm joined by Jensen of EMX Royalty, who of course have had a pretty dramatic last few months with a massive property deal that put a huge amount of capital into the company. And so clearly the main question that you're getting right now is, what are you going to do with $90 million?
That's a great question. That actually represents close to the total amount of money the company's ever raised. So all the money we've ever...
It's just right back there.
One way to look at it is like that. And so I think the answer to the question, the best answer is we're going to be really smart with that money, as we have been in the past. And so the returns that we've generated from strategic investments historically have been outstanding in the company. We've had a long track record of that, Malmesh being the latest manifestation of it. But yeah, we're going to be calculated and measured and wise.
So when you say that, I mean, it's an interesting, EMX is a slightly different approach to the whole industry from the norm. You're not just explorers, you're not just developers or producers. You look for new opportunities, you identify early stage geologic opportunities or strategic investments when things are undervalued, and those investments can be either projects or royalties.
That's right.
And so I am guessing that one of the main things you're looking for with this new influx of cash is to add to your producing royalty portfolio. You want more cash coming into the company. You want to use this money to create long-term sustainability for EMX. But I'm also guessing that since a lot of people are out there looking for producing gold royalties, you're probably not looking for a gold royalty. You guys are more entrepreneurial than that.
We're opportunistic, but that's actually a good summary of a lot of what the company does. Yeah, you've done a lot of the IR work for our company already, so that's great.
Yeah,
but
you're welcome.
Thanks. But what I'd say is, of course, the royalty space is quite competitive. Companies have paid premiums for royalties in the market when purchasing. Cash flowing royalties especially, but what our company has done in the past and will continue to do is to leverage our technical expertise. We've got a great technical team, and as examples of this in the recent past, our purchase of the Leeville property, the royalty, in Nevada was an excellent example of how we leverage that technical expertise. We saw an upside in the exploration potential on that royalty property that probably a few other companies could have or did. And now Newmont over the last couple of years has been announcing some outstanding exploration results on that royalty ground. Some of the best results globally in their entire global portfolio. And I don't want to say we're clairvoyant, but that was the reason we bought that royalty, is because our team, the people on our team that had worked in that area, saw the potential of that property.
Right, so now look for similar things, perhaps not gold, because like we say, gold is pretty competitive, but there's a lot of other things out there that produce, or types of mines out there that produce royalties. I mean, I bet you're looking at everything from potash to coal to copper to I don't even know what else.
We can be creative, and gold is an interesting one, and certainly if we see an attractive gold royalty that we recognize some upside, we think that the pricing in the market is somehow inefficient. Yeah, we'll look at that for sure. We'd like to have one of those, but we're not limited to that, of course, is what you're basically saying, and I agree with that. We're a pretty creative and diverse group, and we can look at a range of opportunities, but selectively. And I know with our board of directors and our management group, we have a very high bar for our investment criteria, and we're going to maintain that discipline. Because with this treasury, the last thing we want to do is see it used unwisely. We're going to be disciplined in our approach.
So the other thing you're clearly going to use the treasury for is continuing what you've always done, which is project generation. And I think we were chatting just before this about how something that's a piece of news that's been a bit overshadowed for EMX, with Malmesh being this massive transaction and getting all the attention, and fair enough, is that you guys have been dealing projects like nobody's business over the last year. Yeah,
deal flow has been excellent. We've been very, this has been an outstanding year. We're going to set an internal record for the commercial deal flow within the company in terms of projects vended this year. We've also had, because of the downturn, a lot of great projects have come available. So our acquisitions teams, our geologists in the field, we've been acquiring a lot of high quality projects, and that translates directly into deal flow. And this has been a great year for us. But actually, the first part of your question, you're saying that are you going to use the treasury for that? The answer is flat out no. We're not going to use the treasury for that, because that part of the business is actually self-sustaining. So when we do deals for our projects, those generate pre-production payments, stage payments, sometimes share payments from the partner, and advanced royalty payments. So we see a lot of pre-production cash flow from our royalty that grows every year. And we've reached the point now where that funds all of our exploration work. Right. So the treasury, we can use that for another thing that we do well, and that's the strategic investments and looking at royalty purchases and deployment of capital in that fashion. Right. But the exploration is starting to pay for itself, which is, if I do my job well, that'll continue. And I think it will.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, there's some of those pre-production properties that kick out $1 million, $1.5 million a year, which is, I mean, that's very significant.
I think sometimes that's overlooked by the market in that, our Akarcha project in Turkey, which is a great example of that generates between $1.3 and $1.5 million of cash flow for us as pre-production payments. When you iterate all the agreements we have over the portfolio and those AMRs, advanced royalty payments, and these pre-production payments, that's a significant number, and it's going to grow through time. And that's the beauty of our business model, as we've reached a point now where that funds or covers our operational costs.
So I think what's really interesting with EMX is we're at this situation where almost $1 of your share price is represented by cash in the bank.
Yeah.
And so your enterprise value for the work that you do, the projects that you have, is actually down. And fair enough, you got rid of a big asset, but it's down.
Yeah.
Over the next little while, what we're going to see with EMX is turning slowly, or perhaps in large chunks, turning that treasury into more value, into more assets in the company. So that's going to be a really interesting process to watch, because you would think that would, I mean, the valuation proposition here looks like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that our enterprise value, we believe, has, as a result of the Melamese transaction, has taken quite a hit. And I know that our management group, people in our management group are buying in the market right now, and I think that's the ultimate sort of advocacy we can give to our company, in that we believe in what we're doing. We firmly believe we're undervalued, and we're letting our pocketbooks speak for us in that sense.
Right. Yeah, and you're going to hopefully get return on your own investment by deploying this massive treasury to good ends.
Yeah, that's right. And to be wise with the capital, and also just we continue to build our asset portfolio in the company. This is our asset handbook. It's available on the website. There's over 100 projects in here and growing. And when I joined the company back in 2010, we had about 30 projects, and we've tripled it since then and doubled it in about the last, since 2016 roughly. Right. So we've been on a really good trend, and that's going to continue. It's a scalable business model that we built for this kind of success. And being well funded with a good treasury is just another component to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with next. So thanks for joining me.
I always have a lot of things active in the background, so we're going to have more stories coming out soon. So,
I'm sure. All right. Thanks.